I recently finished the series 6 from the History Channel, and first things first, I had no idea that the History Channel even made series like that. I thought they only did documentaries and other things, not actual TV shows. So I found that kind of interesting. But to get more to the point, 6 is a series that I actually wanted to watch since about 2020, so 4 years. I've had it on my radar, and now the show isn't really available anywhere to watch on regular streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, Paramount, or HBO. So I had a difficult time finding it, and that was really my biggest issue as to why I hadn't watched it. And I didn't want to pay outright for it because I wasn't sure if I would like it, so I didn't want to spend the money. I began a hunt to find the show, and with many other things in life, like my work at the time, my wife, watching my Western collection, and binging The Sopranos, I kept pushing 6 back and back and back. And I told myself that, one day I'll watch it. I promise one day I will. Well, years go by and I watched The Terminal List on Prime Video and then Special Ops Lioness on Paramount. And I get this itch for military style shows, and I ended up on SEAL Team, and it has like 7 seasons on Paramount. So I think, alrighty, I'm about to get into the show, watch it for a long time, and mind you, this is about 4 months ago, and I get to about 35 minutes in SEAL Team on Paramount Plus, and I cannot take serious David Boraz, the lead of the show. The show seemed too clean visually for me. And quite honestly, the longer that I watched the first episode, the more, I really don't want to say this, but the more corny it got to me. I know maybe it gets better as it goes on, but I really couldn't stand the show and how it felt. So after that failure and removing it from my continue watching section, I began to daydream about 6. Again, something told me that show was actually going to be the real deal. And so I looked for it again on my Amazon in hopes to see it on a streaming service that I own. Google showed me nothing, and I ended up somehow on Tubi TV, a free streaming service here in the United States. And guess what appears when I Google 6? They actually have all 2 seasons free to stream. I was shocked. I was happy. I couldn't believe it. I immediately put it on, and I was iffy on the beginning because I wanted to see Barry Sloane as the lead, since that was one of my biggest reasons for watching. However, I see that Walton Goggins is seemingly the lead and the leader of the squad, and I was kind of concerned, not that he isn't an exceptional actor, but I guess I was wanting to see Barry in a live-action badass military show due to his performance as Price in Modern Warfare, and I wanted to see him as the lead or the commander-in-chief. Well, as the show goes on, I'm immediately hooked. The plot is interesting. The SEALs team feel like a real unit. It is gritty, it is real, it is badass, and the way the show is shot is almost like it wants to put you in the shoes of these brave men. And the camera work had almost a grainy and blurry look to it, in comparison to, once again, Paramount's SEAL Team, which just looked too damn clean and too high definition. Now, quickly, the point of this video is that I haven't seen any recognition for the show 6 whatsoever, and it didn't do the numbers or even have an impact on mainstream audiences because no one ever talks about it. And after watching the show, all I wanted to do was talk about it. So thank you for being here, and let's talk 6. Season 1 was grounded, powerful, and unique. It puts us in the lives of these men and how they managed to work and maintain their home life. It was a show that didn't shy away from the things that a lot of these military men go through and what many of their wives and families go through as well when they are gone. Our 4 main characters are Richard Taggart, former troop leader of SEAL Team 6, who ends up leaving the team due to an incident in Afghanistan and a problem with alcoholism. Then we have Joe Bear Graves, who is the new leader of SEAL Team 6 and lost a baby girl 2 years prior, which has now left his faith and his home life troubled. We have Ricky Buda Ortiz, who is one of the leaders of the squad and former pupil of Richard Taggart. He has a wife and 2 kids, and he is contemplating leaving the SEALs to spend more time at home. And then you have Alex Calder, who has also been with the team for some time, and he has a teenage daughter that he basically abandoned due to his own demons and his need to be on the field. Now, these characters really carry the show, especially in season 1. You get to go deeper into their lives and explore who they are and what they care for. Honestly, to me, the one that I thought I would dislike the most was Alex Calder. But as the show went on, I was hooked on his character and wanted more from him because although he starts off kinda iffy, he grows and improves so much with every single episode. And leading into season 2, Calder ended up being one of my favorites of the show. The season follows the team as they are on a mission to rescue their former leader Rip after it is revealed that he has been kidnapped by Boko Haram. And the season introduces us to Michael Nasri, who has a vendetta against Rip for killing his brother, and it extends to the rest of the team. Season 1 is that of redemption really, as we see the team rally together and grow to save Rip. And we also see Rip finding himself again as he finds something new to fight for. When I reached the conclusion of season 1, I figured that Rip would ride into the sunset and leave his team to chase a new goal alone in the next season. And just as I thought that the initial season was ending, we get a shot of Rip smoking on a pier. My eyes were glued to the scene, and Rip ends up being shot and killed by a young girl whose mind was basically radicalized by Michael Nasri. The season ending was incredible to me, and it reminded me of some of the better shows that I've seen. I was in complete shock and eager to see the team find those responsible. I thought that the first season was incredible and a joy to watch, and I wondered if this show was only ever meant to receive 2 seasons. When I watch a show, I really like to avoid Googling anything to avoid any spoilers, but my curiosity got the best of me this time around. And before starting season 2, I found out that the show halfway through its second season was cancelled. I realized that if I started season 2, I would more than likely end on something happening, like a cliffhanger, and I would never get the full story. But I love season 1 so much that I said screw it, let's watch season 2. Now here is where things maybe went downhill for many of the fans of the show, at least according to the numbers. 6 was down 50% in viewership in its second season in comparison to season 1. Now Eli Reher, who was History's EVP at the time, said that during the end of season 1 and the beginning of season 2, which was about a year and 2 months, the marketplace for similar shows became overpopulated, and they felt like their series had a tough time trying to re-establish itself in a market where CBS had SEAL Team, NBC had The Brave, and CW had Valor, which were all military-based shows. Now, due to all the competition, season 2 of 6 was delayed, and that clearly wouldn't have helped matters. And I think that History lacked faith in its own show. I think it should have released as scheduled and competed against these other shows, and I think they could have won. I think that the quality of 6 was so damn high and so damn good that it may have been different if they would have aired head to head. But fears and suits usually indicate a game or a show and how well it does numbers wise. The decision would mark the beginning of the end for one of the greatest what ifs in military shows. Season 2 introduced us to a crucial new character in CIA officer Gina Klein, played by Olivia Munn, as she pursued the prince relentlessly, who has been behind one of the biggest terrorist group networks in the world and is also the leader of the group that Michael Nasri works for. Now right off the bat, I noticed that Olivia Munn was dead center in the middle of the official poster for season 2. Now I think this was done for 2 reasons. The cast of 6 isn't as well known as somebody like David Boraz, who started multiple seasons on the hit TV show Bones. And I think that they wanted someone that the US audience would recognize on their poster, so they went with Olivia, who has starred in more mainstream roles, including the X-Men. I think this was also the wrong move just because when the season started, the first 2 episodes really dragged with her as the central focus. And I think I get why. They were trying to get us to care for her and understand why she wanted the prince so bad. And I think comparing the first 2 episodes of season 2 to the previous 2 episodes in season 1, they almost felt like a completely different show. Those beginning episodes of 6 season 2 reminded me a lot of Jack Ryan from Prime's TV show. Now, I love that show as well, but I wasn't looking for a CIA spy type of show when I started 6. Immediately I thought, if the whole season follows her and her quest, I can see why it may have dropped in viewership. But soon after episode 3 and 4, the show really picked up and it felt like the SEAL show from the first season, and it only continued to get better afterwards. The direction some of the main characters were going in were truly interesting, and Calder's relationship with his daughter was one that hit me right in the feels. It is important to note that the young girl that killed Rip in the season finale of season 1 had infiltrated Buddha's family and was basically hunting the rest of the SEALs and waiting for them to put their guard down to kill them. Now, she was basically working as a sleeper agent for Michael Nasri, and nobody had knowledge of this. Also, one of the bigger threads of the season was the fact that Joe Bear Graves was losing his marriage and he was coming to terms with being alone and serving only his team. It was like he was destined to become everything that Rip was towards the end of his time with the SEALs. I loved Barry Sloan's range in season 2, and his character was extremely loyal to his wife, as he showed it multiple times during the season. And the ending of the show did leave us with a big cliffhanger and also gave us some closure. Now, I'll be talking about the end of season 2, so expect big spoilers ahead if you haven't expected them already. The end of 6 sees CIA agent Klein lose her life after the prince detonates a grenade, killing himself and her. Fuck! which quite frankly was a huge shock to me, as I thought that her and Graves would actually start becoming something. I thought I sensed some flirting in some of the episodes, and I just didn't think that they would kill her. However, after the death of the prince and the death of CIA agent Klein, the SEALs returned home. However, Michael Nasri has escaped again and launched a new attack on the United States. Graves would struggle with restarting his life with his wife, and Calder would lose his relationship with his daughter, and he would be too wounded to probably continue his career with the SEALs. Buddha would also talk to Graves and tell him that he would be leaving the team to take over his own unit due to the loss of trust that Buddha had in Graves as a leader. And honestly, it was a sad end for these heroes. And the ending of season 2 would begin to set the stage for many different storylines in a season 3 that could have explored the relationship of these men a lot more. And one person that would truly be tested would be Barry Sloane's Joe Graves, as the final scene of the show shows his wife Lena having dinner with Buddha's wife and son when they hear a knock on the door, and it's the girl that killed Rip. She shoots Lena in the stomach and begins an attack on the family while Buddha is away. Sometime later, we see Buddha return with his daughter, and when he goes inside the house, he sees chaos and finds Lena dead on the floor, his son hiding in the bathroom, and his wife Jackie wounded and losing blood. However, the girl that killed Rip and Lena is now dead, and we can assume that in a struggle, Jackie was able to overpower her and she shot her right between the eyes, which quite honestly was very satisfying to see, as that girl pissed me off throughout the whole season. Now, while all this is happening, Joe calls Lena and tells her that he is ready to start again and he cannot wait to see her. And you just see Joe Bear Graves so happy and filled with hope.
We're gonna make it.
And it's so sad that he doesn't know that his wife, just got killed. And we actually never see Joe's reaction to everything that happened. I think the ending was brutal, real, and depressing, and it's sad that we will never get a proper conclusion to a lot of the new and old storylines that were in play during the show. The cast was awesome, and their chemistry was off the charts, especially with each other. I don't think I would have replaced anyone for anyone. It was a brilliant TV show, and sometimes these things happen with shows, with games, with movies. Anything can fly under the radar, or things we believe deserve recognition don't get it. There is many shows that should have been canceled years ago and are still going 5, 6, 7 seasons strong. And shows like 6 that deserve a proper ending will probably never get it. However, the main cast like Barry Sloane, Kyle Schmidt, Juan Pablo Raba seem to remember their days of 6 fondly, as they regularly share behind the scenes photos on their social media from those days. I wish that somehow we could get one more season to really close things out, but with the show being 6 years old and interest being low, it'll never happen. But if you're willing, I'd give this series a big fat shot. It was truly epic and easily a 9 out of 10 for me.